Babyface doesn't want anything to do with his son. Madam is deeply, deeply questioning Blue and her loyalty, and Toni's plan is seemingly working out perfectly. What's good, y'all? It's Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another All the Queen's Men video. And in this one, we are breaking down season 4, episode number 8. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn your bell notification so you don't miss out on any of my All the Queen's Men content and conversations. And we got another decent episode on our hands, y'all. I actually really did enjoy watching the storylines progress and watching little things develop in this episode. While I did feel like this episode gave setup, it didn't give setup in such a boring way. Now, my number one criticism for it, because it wasn't a perfect episode by any means, right, was me wondering if the writers are actually communicating with one another. And I don't want to sound facetious in saying that. However, the storyline for El Fuego and him immediately like walking back his desire to go after Sandra's killers seems a bit off and weird. There was no natural progression to him randomly deciding that he don't actually want to visit this place anymore. In the last episode, we got to see Big D like, bump the gym, we can go down there now. I love the po' boys that they be serving. If you about to run up on these people, let's do it. And El Fuego 100% seemed down. So for us to be in this episode, it feels like they might have plotted out the story like in a writer's room initially, but didn't necessarily speak to each other about the details between episodes, because it felt like almost a completely new version of the El Fuego storyline. And it's like, I don't have a problem with him going back and forth of if he wants to be about this life or he not about this life, but I just wish it was a little bit more of a seamless transition between those two thoughts, because it feels like this El Fuego we got to see in episode 8 was never really on that like I need to figure it out, when that's not the case. We have watched at least 3 episodes setting up his Breaking Bad potential arc. So for us to be in a place in episode 8 where it's like, yeah, I don't want to be bothered, I don't want to change my life, I don't want to bother anything, and then we also get Madam like, I want to make sure that she don't do nothing crazy, and she runs up on him while he's with guests at Eden. It's like all of it just feels very jarring and very weird to me. Again, I don't have a problem with him reconsidering actually going down this road, because he could realize what it means and realize that he doesn't want to become a killer. He doesn't want to become the people that are around him, which makes 100% sense. I just want to see the thought process a little bit more, especially because they have been like breadcrumbing out his Breaking Bad story throughout the last few episodes, with him learning more, like with his little bootleg Alexa playing the audio recording from the killers that was in his apartment that set him up, to him hacking into the computers or to the cameras and being able to track these people, figuring out where they frequent in this restaurant. Like all of those things were like peacefully passed out to us. So for him to just decide in this episode, yeah, I don't want to be bothered, I don't want to do anything, I'm not going to do anything. Even if he's lying to everybody else, the one person who he has been very truthful with has been Big D. And in this episode, he also confirms to Big D that he doesn't want to pursue it. And Big D is still like, well, whenever you ready, and if you ready, I'm ready to go with you. So it just felt a little bit jarring for me, y'all. That's like, again, the biggest criticism that I had. And El Fuego, as y'all know, is one of the most interesting characters for me. I really, really enjoy him. I want more from him as like a character within this universe, because I think that they could do so much more with him. But aside from that, I'm also really enjoying the unraveling of what is Madam's perception of the relationship between her and Blue. In this episode, we get to see her questioning Blue again, and Blue doesn't come out and reveal like, I almost killed my therapist. I am literally going through some things. And what's crazy is that Madam can sense it, so that does speak to me to some genuine authenticity that is there within their relationship and with the level of their relationship with one another, and to the degree that Madam actually knows Blue. It's not even like Madam is sensing things and she's paranoid and she's off. Blue is actually hiding things. She's hiding the fact that she's going to a therapist. She's hiding the fact that she's deeply struggling. She's hiding the fact that she's having these nightmares, and Madam can sense it and is actually speaking to it, and Blue is continuing to hide it, which is the thing that is building the pillar for all of this distrust and could be setting Madam up to turn on Blue, because Blue is just lying. And I do have a video talking about if Madam is about to turn on Blue, and if so, what would be the circumstances in which that would happen. So be sure to check out that video. It's in the All the Queen's Men playlist right here on the channel, because you know I talk about the show ad nauseum to great lengths. If there's something that needs to be explored, a storyline, a character, you know I'm covering it right here on Erica Vane TV. But then getting back to the episode, and let's just take it bit by bit. We start the episode off right where we left off from last episode, where Quincy is confronting Babyface, and Babyface is just like, no, your mother's a liar and she probably a hoe and I don't want to hear it. And he just kind of storms off. Babyface spends this episode just truly reminding us exactly who he is as a character. And this goes to show you, ladies, a man could be fine as he wants to be, but he will become the most unattractive, ridiculous, maybe even borderline utterly disgusting person if they are rotten on the inside, like Babyface. Like, it's one thing to like struggle with learning that you have this kid, but he's not even able to, until the guys like give him a hard time about it. They talking about him behind his back, and he walks into the locker room, hears them talking about it, and then they make a plea for him to actually hear Quincy out. It's not until they do all of that that he is even willing to consider talking to Quincy, or at least hearing Quincy out. And then when he even does go to hear Quincy out and to maybe have a conversation about it, his whole solution is that they act like they don't know each other. They act like each other doesn't even exist. He's already grown now. It's nothing that Babyface can do for him, so they don't need to get to know each other. Like, huh? Like, nobody said that you gotta turn into Daddy Dearest and overnight, but like, wow, this is your seed, this is your DNA, this is your child, and you're gonna act like he doesn't exist because of what? Because you're too busy with your old behind knees trying to twerk on these old ladies, bringing in way less money than him and living off of other women, because you have yet in your 40 years to cultivate a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And yet and still this young whippersnapper is coming, trying to get to know you, maybe even looks up to you and wants to be like you, and you're talking about no? Your legacy is staring you right in the face. Your potential turn for the better, your life actually meaning something, is looking you right in the face. If you could just turn and look to him and actually give of yourself whatever you have, even though you don't have that damn much and you're choosing not to. Yes, it's giving clown if I ever saw one, Babyface, and you are on your way out, baby. Now, what intrigued me about him is him and his audacity. The audacity that he cultivated, coming in super early in the evening, requesting a meeting with Madam, unbeknownst to her, only to come in and then give her ultimatum, talk about something. It's Quincy or him. It's Quincy or you. The same Quincy who was making 2 or 3 times more than you every night. The same Quincy who already has 5 VIPs booked for the rest of the weekend, and you have none. The same Quincy who don't have Bengay on his knees smelling like an old man. The same Quincy who is not living off of some random sugar mama who also gets on my nerves and has not been slipping since living off of said sugar mama. The same Quincy who comes in here, gets this money, does his job, and goes home and don't cause me no problems. That same Quincy? Yeah, you might want to go ahead and rethink it. On top of the fact that you need to rethink the fact that you're actually giving Madam an ultimatum. Madam, she sent you into prison. It wasn't prison, it was jail. She sent you into jail to take out El Fuego. What do you think that she would do to you? Like, it's nothing, Babyface. Like, I just could not stop laughing at the audacity, y'all. And it's so clear, the writing's on the wall, that Babyface is on his way out and Quincy is going to be his replacement. And when I tell y'all that, it's the sweetest justice. I know it's not a 1-to-1 comparison or even equivalent. And yes, at the end of the day, Quincy just wants his daddy, or to be able to have a relationship with his daddy. But if you can't settle, or if you can't get the relationship with your daddy, at least you could take your daddy job. You could take your daddy whole persona. You could take your daddy Regulus down at the strip club. I'm here for it. Can't wait to see it. Now from there, we get to see Detective Davis and DA Rods walking back their interrogation, accusation, and dismissal of Lil Wallflower Girlie, because they're going to make her paperwork disappear, and they're going to hide the fact that her drug test came back negative, so they don't have to throw out any evidence. They have to wind up reinstating her, so they tell her, oh, your paperwork got mistaken with somebody else's. Welcome back, girl, yada, yada, yada. And this is going to come back to bite them, but I'm going to make another video to talk about how I think this is going to play out, because right after that, we get to see the dramatic old Madam walking into the court, and I was like, oh, this is when she's going to trial, but this is literally just her coming to hear about when they're going to set the date for trial, which is so dramatic and it's so ridiculous. But this is giving the judge as well as the prosecution a preview to all of what Madam is coming with. Like, she's coming with a whole bunch of people. Everybody in the gallery want to be clapping for her and doing this and doing that. And it's so interesting because for me, it's just a foreshadowing of DA Rods and Detective Davis getting their asses handed to them. Honestly, they do not have a sure enough case. Throughout this episode, we get to see, you know, the dancers get served. Like, the girl posing as a fluffer was brilliant. So while I was like, yo, these writers are not talking to one another in reference to one writing one episode, the other writing the next. Whoever wrote this episode, the nuggets that they put in, the process server being the one to come in and be the replacement fluffer after the recent fluffer died, but she don't know that. Child, yes. And then having consent forms and getting them all excited, because like, yes, like, let's go ahead and do this by the book. But they should have known then, because what fluffer is going to have you sign a consent form? Y'all not supposed to be doing no sexual. Anywho, I thought that was brilliant, but that was the whole little dramatic moment where she walks into court and gets to face them. We get to see who her judge is going to be. And then a little bit later in the episode, we get to see her sitting down with her attorney, and he's going over their witness list, and he winds up giving Madam a copy, and he reminds Madam that she cannot intimidate or hurt anybody on this list. And what does Madam do? By the end of the episode, she's putting smoke on the girl that she punched in the face back in season 2. Like, and talking about smoke, you can have fun with her. Madam, what did he just tell you? It is illegal. You cannot be making not only threats at these people, but she's going to wind up making this girl disappear. How is that going to look? But I have a video also coming talking about it's too many bodies falling, and Madam might be setting herself up. Even with a weak case against her by the prosecution, she is doing certain things that are definitely going to wind up being missteps, which are ultimately might going to catch her up later on down the line. So we'll be able to discuss that in that video. Now at this point, y'all, I feel like I just have an obligatory part that I have to put in all my videos, especially when Fuego's in it. Why is that man so fine, y'all? Why is that man so fine? And then again, the writers with the little specificity. Who the hell told y'all to put Fuego in the barber chair? Do y'all know how fine black men are sitting in the barber chair? It's like the barber chair extra adds like 25 extra fine points. Like, I'm just very, very confused. Yes. Glory. I'll just leave it at that. Glory. Moving on, Erica. Focus on the plot. And child, we're gonna focus on the plot, or who has completely lost the plot. Dom got heartburn. Girl, you're pregnant. Now all of a sudden Amp has become boyfriend of the year. He's giving keys and telling her to move in. She's agreeing immediately to moving in. Do y'all understand the problem with moving into a man's place immediately? Like, they are too fresh back into this relationship for her to be giving up her apartment, moving into his foundation, and he's already proven himself to be a very unstable man. Yes, he's in a good season right now. Yes, he's feeling good. Yes, he's sober. But what happens when he finds out you're pregnant by Big D? Yeah, Dom. Like, watching all of these damn Dom and Amp scenes, it's like they're supposed to be cute, but they're only cute for people who just started watching the show. They're only cute for people who don't know all of the trifling things he did. They're only cute for the people who don't know that he has already killed 2 black women and basically spit in Dom's face 16 times. That it can only be cute if you don't know those things. And it's just like, she's just so blissfully, ignorantly going along with it. Your demise is coming, Miss Dom. Your demise. And if you missed it, I did a video a while ago talking about Dom being pregnant. And with every new episode, y'all, I'm just getting proven to be right. Because I also made a video about her being a dummy. You can check both of those out on the All the Queensmen playlist as well. Now, in addition to Amp making sure that his girl now lives with him and moving their relationship along at light speed, he also gets to have his little first play date with his mama, who comes and brings the smothered pork chops and is coating up to her little baby boy. And he basically, I guess, is also forgetting that his mama is a rat. He's forgetting that his mama is trifling. He's forgetting that his mama literally disowned him, because now he's just all excited to be eating her smothered pork chops and be sitting next to her on this dang on couch. I talked about if Amp is going to choose his mom over Madam, because at the end of the day, it's going to come down to him making a choice, and I would love to know y'all's thoughts on it. Now, Blue, in the experimental therapy that the therapist suggested last episode, it is not the light therapy that I thought they was going to do. She takes her to an activity of archery, where Blue is able to channel her energy and her focus, similar to what it's like to be a sniper, but a little bit more tactically, because you're holding a bow and arrow, and it becomes so triggering for her while she's reviewing past thoughts and the nightmares that she's having, that she actually turns the bow and arrow on her therapist, and it is a gutting moment. Shout out to the actress who plays Blue, because she's doing a phenomenal job. But this therapist made me a believer. In this episode, this therapist really made me a believer because she is pushing the boundaries and she is pulling things out of Blue that I think ultimately are helping her. Yes, they are triggering her, but it's basically like she has an infected wound and they have to scrape out all the infection, all the disease, all of the problem areas for her to be able to get down to where she needs to get to, and then ultimately bandage it up and then heal from there in a very healthy place, in a healthy way. So I absolutely love this particular choice in therapy, and again this writing choice and how they're handling the characters for her therapy. And it just sucked that they had the moment where Blue turned on her, but the therapist not wavering, the therapist not getting scared, the therapist not backing down and doing what she is paid to do was brilliant to me. So brilliant. And last but certainly not least, y'all, Trouble gets her behind arrested in this episode, and she's down getting interrogated by Detective Davis by the end of the episode and calling Blue asking for bail money. But once Blue finds out that she was trying to sell drugs outside the club, she says, you better call somebody else, get somebody else to do it. So Trouble is going to be left to her own devices to try to get out of jail. She better not offer up no information, because once she gets out of jail, she ain't gonna be able to make it from up out of the grave. And she is proven to be exactly what she is named, Trouble. All right, y'all, those are my thoughts. If I missed anything, let me know in the comment section down below, and I can further expound upon that and share my additional thoughts on those things. I do have other videos coming to explore some of the storylines that we get to see pushed in this episode, because you know I'm going to be dropping new All the Queensmen videos every single day. Get into it. Turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss out when those videos get published. I cannot wait to see your thoughts in the comment section. I'm headed there to read them now. See you in the next one.